Well, hello there, people. I found this gem of a person, EBuzz Central. I call him DistroTube Lite because both of those are living in a fantasy world and nobody else is living in. I have a couple of videos made about him. Don't know which one is coming out first, so let's take this one because this caught my eye. Manjaro and its developers can kiss my ass, and it's... I watched 2 seconds of it or 10 seconds of it, and I was like, oh my god. So
a lot of you that are familiar with my channel know that I love Manjaro. Correction, loved Manjaro. I say that in past tense because I will never recommend Manjaro as a distribution again. I have my reasons. I'm going to give you a few of those reasons, but I do want to point out about a month ago I did a video saying, Manjaro, why did you do this to me? And then about a week ago in my double feature, I let you all know that Manjaro seemed to have fixed some of the issues, but not entirely.
Manjaro, why are you doing this to me? When I hear stuff like that, I hear entitlement, self-importance, a little bit narcissism, maybe?
That's what we're going to cover today on EBuzz Central. Today's video is made possible by the EBuzz Central store. Do you like using Linux, and do you like showing your pride in using Linux? Well, this is the store you need to go to. We have everything from Arch to Debian-based, EBuzz Central merch, sudo apt-get install alive, our base Linux with just the penguin, our Kali-inspired dragon t-shirts, hoodies, sweatshirts, you name it, we have it. And of course, one of my favorites, it's okay if you don't like Linux, not everyone has good taste, our Linux Mint-inspired gear, our Ubuntu-inspired gear, and of course, one of my...
Wait. How big is this guy? He's not even at 10,000 subscribers. He's already pushing these kind of things. Yeah. Know your place. Like, 10,000 is not... I have 2,000. It's like, I'm nobody. He has 10,000. He's definitely also a nobody. Stuff like this is what you do with 50, 30, 50, 100,000 subscribers. But yeah, anyway.
My favorites, the Manjaro. We've got you out using a mug. And please, we'll see if we can get it up there for you. So what we're going to do is zip on over and take a look at some information real quick. Now, we are at the Manjaro website.
Thank you.
And as you've noticed over the last 12 to 18 months, their site has got exponentially nicer. And as you can also tell, they're starting to sell their own mini PCs. And they've also...
That's great.
...been doing their development for the Pine phone.
Great.
There's your Ryzen 7 that they're pressing, the UM700 gaming mini PC.
Great.
It almost seems like they're becoming more interested in hardware than they are the software.
Because there's more money in hardware than software. It makes sense that if you make Linux or Manjaro, that is an operating system, you want to support hardware. They are doing what Linux should be doing. They are talking to hardware vendors to help make Linux work well on as much hardware as possible. I kind of like that, and I need more lights in here.
They want it to run on your laptop, your mini PCs, your Pine phones. But at the same time, I think in doing this, they're weakening their operating system. That's an opinion, because there are so many problems coming up with their operating system that people are getting overlooked when they've got the answers to fix the problems, that they're almost cutting the community completely out. And let me explain. We're going to zip on over to their desktop. And when you boot into Manjaro, this is off of a virtual machine, obviously. Right off the bat, I used to recommend this distribution for beginners. Now, there are a lot of people that would come up into my comments when I spoke about Manjaro and say, I'm having issues, and I would just tell them, I'm not having issues, must be you.
What the Oh my god! Like how... No. You can't fucking think like that. Like it's... Oh my god. It's raining. Well, it's not raining where I'm standing, so it must be you that have a problem with rain. Fucking hell. Please, you cannot think like that. Oh, like this is so fucking unintelligent that it makes my ass fucking flutter right now. Dude, come on, man. Yeah, it may be their hardware configuration. They may have done something they should have done. They may be their configuration. But here's the thing. If one person have that problem, 2 persons would have that problem, 3 people would have that problem, so on and so on. We're talking tech and hardware. mostly if one have a problem, many people have that problem. It's not just like one have a problem and nobody else have it. It's really rare, okay? And if he's like, if let's say someone comes up to him, you know what, this is not working well for me. Can you help me? Well, it's working for me. Must be you. Get the fuck out of here. That I don't know if you say that, but you just can't fucking think like that, dude. It like what the I honestly don't know what to think, man. It like anyway.
Well, guys, it wasn't you, and I do apologize. This is brand new. I just downloaded this. It's the most recent packages. I'm going to zip over here,
Zip.
I am going to log out so we can go to the login screen. Log out. Now, out of the box, I would tell a beginner, go download Manjaro, throw it on a USB, and take it for a test drive. Well, when you go down here to desktop session, it automatically defaults to Wayland. Now, guys, Wayland has got a long way to go, in my opinion. It's not perfect, but when I was running Manjaro about a month ago and I did the update, it defaulted to Wayland and completely and utterly just broke everything.
That's a you problem and not a my problem. I have no problem on Wayland, so it's a you problem. So just throwing some of your own fucking shit out there, my friend. I am agreeing with him on Wayland. It's still a fucking hot mess, to be honest. I will, however, say that I have not had that many problems with Wayland the last year or so. I've tested it out on and off on virtual machines, on Manjaro, Ubuntu, Pop OS, Fedora, OpenSUSE, and there are annoyances, but I have not had massive problems. Granted, I have not used the proprietary NVIDIA drivers with Wayland, because I just always default to the Xorg because I know that works. Yeah, I don't know if this is a reason for not recommending Manjaro, though. Because Ubuntu is using Wayland. All distributions nowadays are using Wayland. So is it a Manjaro problem, or is it a Linux community problem by defaulting to Wayland, or what is it?
Okay. Now, that wasn't the only issues that I was having, but Wayland was a big part of my editing video issues. Okay, so what we're going to do right now...
And that's why I edit on the Windows, by the way. Video editing on the Linux is subpar.
Now is we're going to go back to the desktop. Now that we're back on the desktop, I'm going to go ahead and close out of the welcome screen and zip down. I want to point out audio, because one thing you're going to notice out of the box now is when you download Manjaro, boot into it, or you install it, PipeWire is your default audio handler. If you are a creator like me, or if you're just somebody that likes doing audio work, PipeWire does not play friendly with Audacity. It doesn't play friendly with Shotcut, because you get no waveforms. Everything is just flat.
So a you problem, not a me problem. I've used PipeWire. I don't particularly like it. That's another point. But I have used it, again, just to try it out. It works for me. But again, I don't edit the videos on the Linux. I don't use Audacity on the Linux. So again, that must be a you problem, because I don't have that problem. So therefore, it's not a problem. Your philosophy here, by the way. Audio has been a fucking pile of doggy shit on Linux ever since it came out, because nobody really cares that much about it. You don't get the same quality, you don't get the same, you just don't get the same fucking standard as you get on the Mac or Windows. And if you are an audiophile, if you really are into audio, you should not be doing that on the Linux. I've talked to a few people that have tried to do audio work on the Linux, and they are just like, either it takes fucking too long, it's too complicated, meaning they're spending too much time just making sure things fucking work.
Looks horrible. Not to mention, 90% of the time, the audio doesn't work. And in my video from a month ago, and I will link that video at the end of this video, it was completely locking my system up. You had to completely remove PipeWire, then reinstall Pulse, and even then you were having issues because there were dependencies that were missing.
I have never had those problems, and I run Manjaro right now in a VM. I'm not recording from it, but I have it up and running. Must be a you problem, and not a me and Manjaro problem then.
Or too many dependencies. It was just a nightmare.
I will notice one thing, and this tells me a little bit about this person. I think I'm right. I could just be mistaken, but I watched a few, like 4, 5, or 6 videos from this guy right up till now and reacting to them, because he's fucking out there. One thing I have noticed from a under 10,000 subscriber channel is that I have never seen a skippable ad yet. It seems like he has disabled skippable ads. Why? Because non-skippable ads give you more money. Also, he's almost as bad as Nick from the Linux Experiment with fucking having ads all over the place. Think about your viewers, please. I'm okay with ads, I use ads myself, but at least try to be concerned about the viewer experience. This dude here, we are 5 minutes into the video, we have had the start ads, we had his own ad for his store, and now we are having non-skippable ads. That's too many ads within 5 fucking minutes, okay?
I found some of these problems, and I pointed some of these problems out. I went to the forums, and I shared these problems. I even emailed developers with Manjaro to say, here's the fix, because I love this distribution so much. Let's get this.
Let me be a Karen in your forum. I hope he shows us what he said. Because this matters, okay? It matters how you approach people. Okay, even if you have the fix, hey, you motherfucking idiots, can you fucking make a right distribution the right way? Here, let me show you how to do it. That's probably not the right way to go about it. If he wants to be this better and smarter than anyone else guy, let us see what the fuck you said in the forums. Let us see the email. And here's the thing, Manjaro gets a lot of those fucking emails. Okay, they get a shit ton of emails. I don't know if they responded to him or what they did. His email could have ended up in the spam folder. It could be, drowning in hundreds of other emails. Okay? You are not that important that everyone should listen to. I hate this fucking self-importance trip that people are on just because they're on the internet.
Fixed. And I was basically, in no uncertain terms, told to screw off. We don't want your help.
Show us the fucking receipts then.
We don't need your help. And what it reminded me of, if y'all remember 8 to 10 years ago, when Ubuntu was really kicking, Ubuntu was popular. They had
It still is still the most used distribution in the world, so yeah.
GNOME desktop environment. Then they switched to Unity. Then they wanted to launch Ubuntu One cloud storage. And then they wanted to launch the Ubuntu Touch phone. They kind of spread out and just tried to become this big corporation and forgot where they came from.
No, they tried to make money. They tried to build up an ecosystem so they can make a shit ton of money. They tried to build an ecosystem a la what Microsoft and Apple has, because that's what people are used to from that space. It just didn't work out for them, but that was what they were trying to do while making money. That's basic fucking business.
And that's one of the reasons I believe Ubuntu's fell way behind in the community. And that's one of the reasons I truly believe that Manjaro's going to eventually fall behind in the community. Now, thinking I was the only one.
It sounds like he is the community, because I don't like those distributions, so therefore they will fall down. Ubuntu have never been more popular.
One that had been treated this way by the Manjaro team, I was quite mistaken when I got a comment that I want to share with you all right now.
Showing, oh, Matthew Moore. Oh. If you don't know who that is, he's also one of those people that seem to be, look at me, I know what's best. Like, he's not approaching the situation in the most productive way. And he had some issues with Manjaro and made videos about that where he was not approaching it in the most correct way, meaning he was not doing it in a way that will end up in good results, basically. If you act like an asshole, you'll be treating like an asshole. I'm not saying he is an asshole, but you get what I'm saying.
It's a rather lengthy comment, so please bear with me. But this is from Matthew Moore over at Tech Cafe. I got it about 5 days ago. And he basically said, I used to be a Manjaro fanboy. I used it since it was only in beta. I've also collaborated on the project with their developers on multiple occasions and even maintained a Manjaro spin of my own.
Okay, who cares about maintaining a Manjaro spin-off? And yeah, it's nice that he has cooperated, but to what extent? bug fixing, code fixing, submitting features, hard coding, kernel fixes, or was it just like, hey, this is not working, can you fix it? Or, well, I really, really like this feature. To what degree have you cooperated with the project? We want to, that's important.
I gave up on Manjaro a few years ago after bumping heads with their developers. There were bugs in Manjaro that didn't exist in stock Arch or anywhere else as far as I could tell.
Yeah, but Manjaro is not Arch. It's a spin-off of Arch. So, yeah.
Grub issues, audio issues, theme issues, the list is long. After reporting these bugs to the lead developer, who I was in direct contact with as a collaborator, I was outright ignored. Now, I know how he feels.
Get something to drink. What was in those emails? What was the approach that you like? How did you type? What did you say? What was your approach? Did you spam them all over again? Like a simple fucking little person like me, if I do a live stream or sometimes in comment section, I get some people, rarely, but I get them, that they ask the same question over and over again because I didn't answer it the right way. And when people start to do that, you start to tune them out. And then you totally forget about them. Here's another thing. What if your email got, like I said, caught up in a spam filter, got dragged up, and there's so many fucking reasons why it happened the way it does, and without seeing the conversation, seeing the email exchange, we don't know what the fuck was happening here. So show us the receipts. If you are accusing someone for something, have the fucking receipts ready, because the Manjaro team have the receipts. What if the receipts comes out that those two people here were actually being really fucking obnoxious? They don't look that good anymore.
And we're talking about years ago, but we still have that issue right now. And isn't the community the most important part of a Linux distribution?
No.
If you disagree...
No. It's part of it, but I will not say it's the most important. The community don't build the fucking distribution. Here's the thing. The community is another word of users/customers. The community is something the users build up themselves to some extent. And then Manjaro will foster it. You know, they embrace it, they talk to it. Look at it like this. A community is also another word of fan. So when you have, like, let's say, a musician, a band, Metallica, for example. They are them. They are doing the music, they're doing all the things that they're doing, but they also have a community, the fans and stuff like that. That's kind of the same nature here. The thing with Linux is that most Linux distribution and Linux developers tends to be way more engaged with the community than any other place or not any other place, but most other societies, or what the fuck you will call it. Like, they are way more engaged with the community than musicians, actors, actresses, businessmen, businesswomen, and stuff like that. They are way more engaged, but in the end, there will still be a Manjaro without the community. There will not be a community without Manjaro. So who's the most important thing here? Because they can still develop Manjaro. They can probably still get people to develop it. Will it slow down? Probably. Will it get a lot of less press? Probably. But they can still develop Manjaro without the community. There will not be a Manjaro community without the Manjaro. That's how we know which one is most important.
Agree, please let me know in the comments below. The community is the one that uses the distribution. The community is the one that supports the distribution. They send in the donations. They help out.
So when have you the last time sent in donation, and how much have you helped out? And also, if you really look at it in the broader scheme of things, just like with the Linux kernel, I will suspect that corporate sponsorship is what keeping Manjaro alive. I also suspect that it's to some extent corporate development that's put more into Manjaro, that the community is not helping out that well. Look at the Linux kernel, most of the contributions is done by big, massive fucking ass companies, and the individual community contribution to the Linux kernel is almost, it's not zero, but it's really fucking low. So if the community stops supporting the Linux kernel, we will still get a lot of fucking development done, because it's the corporations that are sponsoring the Linux kernel. And I suspect it's kind of the same with Manjaro.
Not to mention, Manjaro has had issues with SSL certificates and security issues along the way. So he goes on
So have any other fucking Linux distribution had multiple times during its lifetime.
to say, so I posted it to the forums where many other people started chiming in with the same problem. The head developer commented on that thread and pretty much told all of us that we didn't know what we were talking about. This is what prompted me to make my own spin. I put out my own version of Manjaro that didn't have these bugs, mostly just to prove my case that these bugs exist and that I knew how to fix them. My unofficial spin actually had more downloads than Manjaro's main edition the first week I released it. The Manjaro developer called me a cancer on the community and then still refused to accept my bug fixes. The forum thread...
Again, if he called him a cancer and acting like a fucking douchebag, I don't know. Again, we need the receipts. If I take his word, if the main developer acted like that, that's not the right way to act towards a community member. We can all agree on that, but we don't know how those conversations was. Were they combative? Were they obnoxious? We don't know. That's why we need the receipts. Like, I would kind of like to think that Matthew Moore is right here. Again, I have a little bit of insight because I was around when this happened. So I have a little bit of insight to it. And but anyway, I want the receipts because I kind of want to some extent, believe Matthew Moore that, if that was the case, if Matthew Moore was polite, didn't stir up shit, and was helpful, and the main developer was a douchebag, that's a fucking idiot to do so. Also, kind of want to believe that the Manjaro developers are not asshats, and it was actually Matthew Moore doing something obnoxious. And his Manjaro spin-off have more downloads the first week compared to Manjaro's main distribution. It's nothing. It's downloads over time. You know, when something new comes out, everyone wants to try it out. If I make a fucking new distribution and advertise it to everyone and stuff like that, I will get a shit ton of downloads the first week or so. But then over time, if I do nothing with it and just swing my dick around, I will get no downloads. It's sustainability is what we are looking for here.
Regarding these bugs was locked by him. Nobody else could comment on them. A month later, I found my code in Manjaro XFCE edition. The same code I was insulted for creating.
Again, we need proof. When there is an accusation, you have to have proof. I can't stress this enough. If you're going to accuse someone from doing it, have the fucking receipts ready. And if you're right, then you have a big fucking gotcha to the Manjaro team.
The same code I was told made me a cancer on the community and now being used by the same people. Talk about hypocrisy.
Well, that's what open source is about. You can take other people's code and use it. And also, if you were not... I keep saying this. It depends on how you act. If he acted like a fucking idiot, he will be treated like an idiot. And without the receipts, and knowing the history with at least Matthew Moore and his videos and stuff like that, and some of the forum posts he have made, I'm a little bit skeptical here. I think it's on both sides. I think Matthew Moore was probably a little bit too Matthew Moore, and the Manjaro developers was probably a little bit too protective.
They took credit for the fixes, of course. They claimed it was their code, but I still had the original GitHub repository to prove that it wasn't.
Prove it.
And to all my viewers out there, I have verified it. Apparently, it's...
Then show it to us, you fucking douchebag. Like, you are not credible without evidence. Again, he's really fond of making himself self-important. I've verified it, so trust me. Then show it to us. Show it to us. And show us the commits. When was the code implemented into the Manjaro project? Was it before or after the code was released into the GitHub page? And that in of itself can also, again, if you're playing devil's advocate, the Manjaro team could have been sitting on that code for fucking months before Matthew Moore commenting, but have not talked about it. Because they want to test it or something like that. We don't know. That's why we need to see the receipts.
Common practice for them to take code from others and claim it as their own. For example, their fancy grub bootloader was lifted directly from Antics. I knew that, and I figured that out about 2 weeks ago. Anyways,
again, show us the receipts who did the code first. That's really simple to see when it was committed to GitHub or their code, because I want to believe them, but I need the receipts.
They took credit for my work while simultaneously smearing my name on their forums. This really made me mad. But like I said, this sort of thing was common among those developers. Now, I had heard in the past, primarily before I switched to Manjaro, about some problems 2014, 2015-ish, where a bunch of developers had just up and left the distribution, but I hadn't really paid much attention to it. He kind of brings it back up in this comment. This sort of nonsense was the source of all kinds of drama surrounding the Manjaro developer community. It actually caused lots of contributors to drop the project like a hot potato. Forex did a story on it back in 2014, which is still up if you want to go look at it. Manjaro Linux developers experience a mass exodus. That is a true story.
But it don't seem to have hindered them, though. Like, they are still steaming ahead. I've heard. Here's the thing. I have heard a lot, and let's put it into rumors about the Manjaro team. I have heard them. And if there's smoke, there's fire. But we don't know the situation. We don't know how those developers was acting up. Did they not like where the product was heading and they didn't get their will? Or did they think they were more important than they were? And there's all these things we don't know. Again, if you have to accuse someone, have the receipts. And speculations or rumors are just that. And I rarely like people that are reporting on rumors. Because we don't know the whole story. If someone gets pissed off and leave a project or a company or a workplace, you don't get the whole fucking story, and you get a really, really highly skewed version of that story. Could it be true? Yeah, probably. I don't know. This is not the way of going about it. Honestly, it's not. I'm fucking autistic, and I know that shitting on a project you don't like this is not the way of going about it, to be honest. Let me tell you how important I am. I have a lot of problem with Sorian. They're doing a lot of the same things that they're accusing Manjaro for. And I've seen it. I've proved it on live streams over and over again. When people are asked why I don't like Manjaro, I've been showing them why I don't... Sorian. Why I don't like it, and go get into their GitHub page and stuff like that. They're doing a lot of the same thing as he's accusing Manjaro for. But I don't make... this is why I hate Sorian, and you should not use Sorian. I address it when people are asking me about it. Because if I go out and just slam Sorian all the time, it's not a fucking good way, because they will not listen to me. I'm just a fucking idiot yelling in the void.
I just read it the other day. If you want, I'll link it in the description below.
No. You should do it by default. It's not like, if you ask me. No, do it by default.
Archived on their site if you want to read it. The bottom line, Manjaro has bugs that no other distro has, not even stock Arch. They simply don't know how to leave well enough alone, and when you report these bugs, you get treated poorly for it. Now you all may be thinking this guy is dramatic. This guy right here is just going off the deep end. He's not happy, so he's taking it out on Manjaro.
There is a little bit about that. Let's be honest. Like, if you know Matthew Moore, I don't know the guy personally. He could be, and we have ads again. I don't know the guy personally. He could be a nice guy, but he tends to get a little bit dramatical.
Let me explain something to you. Troy Holt at EBuzz Central has had his account, his forum account on Manjaro, blocked and locked out. I can no longer participate in asking or answering questions on...
I will say this. Who the fuck cares about you, okay? Who care about you getting suspended, whatever the fuck it is? You have not shown us anything that validate what you have said up till now. And this video here don't help you, because if you don't want your account to be blocked, if you want to be allowed in at some other point in life, you just burn that bridge. If someone can make a video like this because they're not getting taken seriously or listened to, how do you think they act in the fucking forums? Again, I don't know if he could have been the most fucking polite and nicest person in the forums. But we don't know. I'm of the opinion that if I don't have all the facts, I split the blame 50-50. If he's not giving me the receipts, and the Manjaro people not giving me the receipts, that means that both have something to hide. He's not giving me the receipts, that means he has something to hide. That's how I look at it. Because if you have nothing to hide, you will show the receipts. But again, who fucking cares about your account, okay? You're not that fucking important. Have you been Linus Tech Tip? Maybe I will listen to you. Have you been the Linux Experiment or DT or Chris Tiles Tech? Yeah, maybe you will have a little bit of clout, but... Dude, Yeah, I know you're bigger than me, but 10,000 subs, it's nothing, man. It's not enough clout, by the way.
On the forum because of an email that I sent stating that I could help fix a problem.
Let's see the email.
And they did not want to listen to me.
Let's see the email.
So I will no longer recommend Manjaro. I don't know why they feel the need to be this way. They have pretty much just told the community that they don't care about us.
No, they told you that they don't care about you and the way you act.
And if we have input, they don't want to hear the input.
I've seen them take input. Go onto the forums, man. They take input.
Could care less. So guess what? I could care less. If the Manjaro OS never makes another appearance on my channel, it'll be way too soon.
Who cares about your channel? Like, who gives a fuck? Who cares? And the lighting is all over the place now. Who cares? Who cares about my channel? Like, honestly, who cares about you and I? Nobody cares. Even if you had 1 million subscribers, who fucking cares? Are you bringing more money to the team? Are you bringing more development to the team? No. Manjaro don't give a fuck if you're a part of the community or not. They really don't.
But I am going to recommend something. I'm going to recommend something from a community that loves input. I'm going to recommend something from a distribution that loves its users and will take input from its users. And that distribution is Linux Mint.
Oh, Linux Mint.
Not just Linux Mint, but Linux Mint Debian Edition 5, the newest release. You might be saying, well, you're going from Arch to Debian.
I have heard, again, rumors, why I don't talk about them that much, but I've heard people have the same problems with Mint. They don't listen, they get kicked out, they don't take feedback and stuff like that. You will have those fucking problems in any community.
If you want to stick with Arch, try something like Endeavor.
Manjaro's not Arch, fucking get it in your head. Manjaro's not Arch. It's a spin-off of Arch. It's using a lot of the same technologies as Arch. But it's not Arch. They say so themselves, okay? It's in the fucking developer's website.
That's your prerogative. You can do that. What I'm doing is trying to put people in line with a community that welcomes you, a distribution and
I hope you're in line.
Developers that care about your input, a distribution and developers who, when you offer a fix, will thank you for that offer and thank you for your input and stay with you and be there for you.
They will cuddle you, make you dinner, give you a hot cup of cocoa. They will tuck you in at bed. They will give you the best BTA in the world. If you're really lucky, you'll probably get a thumb up your ass. Most people don't associate on forums with the operating system that they use, okay? Most people just using the fucking software. They don't go out of their way to become part of a community. They're just users, consumers. I do get it, though. It's nice to be in a place that you're welcome.
As opposed to telling you, hey, screw off. This is Linux Mint Debian Edition 5. It's a beautiful distro. If you go right up here and right-click, you can create a folder. You can change your desktop background. You can customize it.
This is a great distribution. You can change the wallpaper. You can make a new folder. How is that making it a great distribution? You can do that on any fucking distribution that runs Cinnamon. Heck, you can probably do it on any distribution that runs anything beside GNOME that don't have extensions enabled. So all of those are great distributions, though. What about Cinnamon Manjaro? Is that not a great... that must also be a great distribution because you can change the wallpaper and create a folder.
Let's check out some backgrounds here. Your base, good-looking Linux Mint wallpapers. I'm going to leave the one that's there up.
Wallpapers don't make a distribution great. Oh, for fuck's sake.
What I want to do real quick is let's pull up settings. And your settings open up. Let's go ahead and maximize that so you can see it. You've got software sources.
This is not Mint exclusive. This is Cinnamon exclusive. I run Cinnamon on Manjaro doing these things, having these options. I run Cinnamon on OpenSUSE having the same fucking experience. I really don't want to say what I'm thinking right now, but it has something to do with running your head into a wall and get dropped a lot as a kid.
Firewall, users and group, system info. Let's zip on down here. Right now, operating system is Linux Mint Debian Edition 5, LC. Cinnamon version 5.2.7. Your kernel version
That's actually really old.
is 5.10.0-12. A lot of people out there are going to go, but we're on kernel number 5.17. Really? 5.10 runs really well on an Asus ZenBook that I have. Had a little issue with the keyboard on it. Did an update. No problems anymore. The graphics look good. Guess what? It's running X11. Thank you. Okay, don't have to worry about something that might be screwy when I'm trying to do my video editing or anything like that.
So I don't have a problem, therefore it's you.
Comes with Pulse Audio out of the box. Okay, and then if you come down here, you can go ahead and you can see that you've got accessories, you've got your discs, document viewer, graphics.
Don't show us the fuck. This has nothing to do with how great the distribution is. This has something to do with how is the user experience on Cinnamon. I can do the exact same fucking video. This part of the video, you can do that on any distribution you have Linux Mint on. It would be almost identical beside the hardware specs and the system information.
Internet, Thunderbird, transmission, Office. You got LibreOffice out of the box. Sound and
like 99% of all distributions in the world.
Video, you got celluloid, hypnotics, administration, preferences. Now, one thing I do want to point out while I open up the terminal here, I have about 3 gigabytes of RAM issued to this machine. I want to see if they have HTOP installed, and they don't. Let's try top. Yes, they do. Let's go ahead and maximize that. And out of the 3 gigs, I'm sitting at about 647 megabytes being used, which, quite honestly, on the Cinnamon desktop is pretty nice. Mm-hmm. It's not as light as some of the XFCE distributions I've seen.
The XFCE gets up there nowadays. But again...
But it's still just over half a gig, which is really nice. It's light. You can use it on older systems, and you'll be just fine. Mm-hmm. One thing I do like that Linux Mint is doing is keeping the Linux Mint Debian Edition alive. One of the reasons I say that is because I want to see a day to where Linux Mint is not based on Ubuntu anymore.
That will probably not happen. They said it themselves. They did the Linux Mint edition as an experiment and to see if they could use if Ubuntu went away, could they still use Debian as a base? So listen to the wording. If Ubuntu went away. So that means that they have no plan of changing. Could it happen? Everything is possible.
That's my personal preference. That's my personal opinion. I want to go ahead and open up the file manager here. And I like the file manager. I like the rounded corners up top.
That's the theme, you fucking fool. I can get Nemo on I can get Nemo on fucking GNOME, XFCE, LXQT. This is not Mint exclusive. It's Cinnamon. It's part of Cinnamon. Yes, it is being developed by Mint, but you can get this Cinnamon desktop on almost any fucking Linux distribution. So how is this making Mint great?
And you've got your usual suspects over here. You got your home folders right here. It's your typical desktop environment. Cinnamon is solid. Cinnamon gives you your shortcuts over here, and then of course your main applications right here. Now
that it's amazing. It's great. I'm a Cinnamon fanboy, but this has nothing to do with Linux Mint. Other than you're talking about the desktop environment. What about the underlying technologies?
One thing I do want to point out: if you download Linux Mint Debian Edition 5, it's a 1.9 gigabyte download, and it has everything you need. Everything from calculator, file manager, pics, document scanner. You got Thunderbird, web apps.
Now we are going over the menu again. You didn't get it the first time. Let's keep going over the menu again. Let's be impressed about what's in the menu. Where's the argument here? A lot of distributions have those out of the bat. This is nothing specific to Mint Debian Edition.
Transmission, Firefox web browser, Office, you got LibreOffice out of the box, sound and video. We've already went through all that.
Oh, there was one on the sound and video called Install Codecs. That could be interesting because that's not what you see in most distributions.
If you download Manjaro, it's almost 3.6 gigabytes. But it's supposed to be an operating system based on the bleeding edge of Arch.
Yeah, so again, understand what the fuck you're talking about. Why is it big? It's all of the extra additions that they put on it, extra software, extra layout, extra themes, extra driver support for peripherals, and so on and so on. Do this have Webcom, or what the fuck they call those patch that artists use, support out of the bat, or do you need to download it? The reason why distributions are getting bloated is that they are trying to support everything and everyone, meaning they are putting every fucking support for every fucking device and stuff like that in there. They are cramming in fucking more libraries for, you know, this specific user group than you can dream of. That's why they are bloated. That's also why Arch is streamlined when you download and install Arch your way, because you're only getting the things you need and you want. You're not getting extra support for things you may add in later down the line. You have to manually install that. I have plenty of time remixed Ubuntu and other fucking distributions and taken away all the bloat. And bloat is basically programs and software you don't need. But what is bloat for me may be a requirement for someone else. Why is it so big? It's like Manjaro, Ubuntu, and all of those big distributions. They want their distribution to just work for as many people as possible with as diverse hardware support, or hardware as possible, with as big and diverse peripheral support attachment as possible. So most people just download, install, and don't have to do anything further than that. That's why they are big. They are trying to support everyone and everything. Most of the fucking bloat is in the back end of the distribution to give that support. It's not the desktop environment. Again, we need to understand and know the autonomy of a distribution if we're doing this kind of criticism.
I don't buy it. Like I said, I'm not here to bash anybody.
You just spent fucking 16 or 14 minutes bashing Manjaro and its developers.
I'm here to support communities that want to support us as a community, us as Linux users. And when
you want to be here, you want to make this video so you can support a community that support you. We haven't seen any receipts. We have not seen what the interaction was about. I've heard that Manjaro folks are fucking idiots. I don't know if that's a fact. And when we have not seen the receipts, we have to suspect that it goes 50-50. There's two to tango. Knowing this fucking guy's content here, and knowing Matthew Moore, or again, not knowing them like personally, intimately, but have watched and been aware of how they are in the community almost ever since I started watching Linux content and they were around. Misleading, dangerous. Look at the videos he's making here. Like, he's a toxic motherfucker. I'm sorry to say it. How is any of this building a positive community? There are some good one out there. Endeavor OS has landed. But then you have all these kiss my ass, misleading, yelling and screaming. I don't know if it's yelling and screaming. And this one here I probably will agree with, that Linux FX just needs to fucking go away. Like, I do agree with some of his viewpoints, and I can see where the fuck he's coming from. That's not the thing here, but here's how from what I have watched from these videos, and again, I watched 5, 6, 7 videos over the last couple of days to give like get myself a indication of who he is as a person, stuff like that. He seem I don't know, like I said, the person that goes into a room, and if he's not being treated like the smartest guy in the room, as not being treated like the most important guy in the room, he makes a hissy fit. And he also thinks he's the smartest guy in the room, and he's the most important guy in the room. And if you don't give him that respect and that acknowledgement, he will look down on you. That's how we come across. And I don't like those kind of people. They are not my peeps, man. It would be like me saying, I've been using Linux since the mid-90s, so I don't listen to anyone that have used Linux less than me. And because I've been using Linux since the mid-90s, I know more about Linux than any fucking other Linux distribution. Not Linux distribution, Linux YouTuber out there that exists. Just for that fact. That's the equivalent to what he's doing here. How douchebaggy does that sound? I could see why Manjaro would be like, But again, I also heard that the Manjaro developers are not that friendly people. Maybe they should just all get together and make a distribution, because they seem to be as arrogant. See you all later. Bye bye.